All right, so I'm working away at this, getting these lights working here. The marker lights that were down in here are 24 volt. I could not find 12 volt bulbs for them, so I just took them out. I don't want to put the original signal lights back in. I think they're ugly. So what I'm doing is I've got, these are the, going to be the front marker and signal light, and I had to make up this panel out of stainless here, and then I just brushed it, but to go in and cover those holes and mount that light on. So I'll just kind of stuff it up into place there for now. Hang on. Okay, so that's kind of what it's going to look like. There, it covers up those old marker light holes. And then this, give this light a flat surface to mount on. And that'll be my front signal and marker light. I'll take another little bit of video once it's permanently mounted. Alright, so there's the first one mounted, and that's the marker light, park light. The signal light's wired up, but flashers, I don't have an electronic flasher, so there isn't enough load on it with that being LED to make it work, so it just comes on and stays on. So I got to get I'll have to get an electronic flasher. That came out okay. I just have to build one for the other side. So kind of after the fact, I realized I should probably take a little bit of video of building this. This is the marker light mount for the other side of the bus. You saw the other one that I built, so I'll build this one the same. So basically just have a three-sided box like a channel, and I'll start forming this end here and weld it up and show you as I go. And just as a quick comparison here, we're going from that to that, which I think is a huge improvement. I'm just struggling with the screws on the headlights, trying to get those rings off of there so I can change the bulbs or the seal beams, but so far they're resisting me. So I went and forgot to film all the steps in between from what you saw to there, unfortunately, but you get the idea. Anyways, now I'll mount that. Just getting rid of these nasty old lights, so I'll mount that and mount the other light. Okay, so there's both sides done now. So that pretty much finishes up the front end. For now anyways. I mean, obviously there's a lot more to do up here eventually, but for now, so I can drive it and get it on the road, that'll do. So now I'm moving to the back. And here's this rear junction box again. And this is so badly corroded, as I showed you before, but you know, like when I went to move this batch of circuit breakers, they just came right off their mounting back there. They just rusted right out. So all this stuff's got to go. I'm going to try and identify and mark the circuits to go to the engine not as I take it apart, but if that proves to be too time consuming or difficult, I'll just cut them out and figure it out later. But I don't think it'll be too bad. They all come in through this one. There's two junctions here, connectors here inside, so I'll try and identify what they are as I take them apart. Anyways, fun and games. Well, there's the mess that came out of that compartment. I just had to just cut it all out of there. This some of this stuff this plate, I just had to break it in half. There's no way you can get any of the bolts out. It's just been in there for, you know, whatever, 45 years or something. There's no way they're unthreading those things. But now it's this might be too close, but it's empty. So I'll go ahead and clean it all up and start putting the components I need in there. There's those three things up there. I cannot get them out. So I think they're going to have to be, just leave them and call them mascots or something. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I can't get them out of there. No way the bolts will come out. You can't get out the back side. Can't get a zip cut in there to cut them out. So they're just going to have to stay. Can't use that area up there anyway, so I'm just going to leave them. These, I have identified some of the wires. Like, these are the engine control wires. That's one of these is the, I don't remember which one's which now, but one of them is the shutdown. The other one is the high idle. These wires. So anyways, so they are. This is all the engine control circuits here. So I'll have to wire them back up to the relays I put in, and go from there. So I'll video a little bit more when I'm a little farther along. Okay, so I'm a little bit further along here. I'm pretty much got everything into this compartment here now. So that's the regulator for the alternator. Mounted that in here. It used to be up in the rear baggage compartment, but that's going to be full of water tanks and whatnot now, so I don't want to have it in there. These are 3 trailer wiring distribution blocks or boxes. They're waterproof, so that gives me 21 circuits. And there's my 4 relays that I need for my 12 to 24 volt circuits. Everything is fairly easily accessible, so I'm just wiring up. I got some of the circuits run here. Dad and I are going to spend some time today identifying some of these circuits. This is the other end of the 48 wires that are up at the front end. Well, we're going to find 20 or so wires in there that we can use, and then I'll wire the front end of the bus to the back end of the bus. Fun and games. Alright, so I'm working away in the driver's compartment here, wiring. Yesterday Dad and I spent some time and we identified 32 circuits, which I don't need anywhere near that many, but let me get rid of this stupid thing. There we go. Yeah, we identified 32 circuits. I marked each one front and back with a number, and so I'll just wire all my circuits here to each one of those wires, and I'll identify them with that number. I have them all marked, or like a note in my phone with all the different circuits I need, and I'll just put one of whichever one I use, I'll put that number with it, and then when I go to the back and wire that up, I'll just use those numbers to identify each circuit. So you know, I'm working away at getting this all wires all run where they need to. Ignition switch, that's high tech, huh? Works. Gonna be, you know, just I gotta drive this thing 350 miles, so I just have to get everything so that I can do that. So I can I'm gonna work on extending these extending the light circuits here, because all the switches are going to be on the other side over here. Inside the ignition switch, they're all going to be over in here. So to extend those, and then I'll go to the back and start wiring back there. I've identified some of the engine control circuits and all that kind of stuff, so I'll just start wiring that stuff up. So I got some of these circuits extended, some more to do. These are for switches and lights and whatnot. Well, light switches, so I guess it's all switches. Anyway, got all my wires all patched into this wiring harness down here. It's 14 circuits that I need right now. I'm going to add right in here, because the headlights are not fused, so I'm going to put an automatic circuit breaker in that circuit, and also the tail lights for some reason are not fused, so I'm going to put a circuit breaker in there as well in this harness. Marker lights are, there's the fuse for it there, so they're fused, but the tail lights are not. So I'm going to add some automatic reset circuit breakers into that harness, and I'm just headed to the back to start wiring up the back end. Alright, here's another little update. The back end here is all wired up and finished for now. Regulators wired up. All these extra wires up in here, I'm just going to leave them like that for now, and as I need more circuits for whatever, I'll you know, use them, and then I'll get rid of everything I don't later on. I hate to go and cut all that stuff out of there and then find out I need another circuit or two, so I think I'm just going to leave them for now. Same as these wires here that are coming from the engine, that I've got the engine all wired up, everything I need at this point, but if I find that there's something I forgot or whatever, then the wires are there and I can just wire them up as I discover I need them. And once I know that I have everything I need, then I'll just cut all the excess wire out. These are my relays. Everything's wired up there. This box here is all the engine controls. This one here I've got for all my lights. At this point, all the lights are just wired to this box. As soon as the lights are ordered, when they come in, then I'll just wire everything, you know, into this box, run the wires to the back of the bus and all that stuff. And then this box over here is for auxiliary, you know, whatever circuits. And for instance, there's a 12-volt positive here. I will be putting a trailer hitch on it eventually, so I'll need that'll be for charging batteries, the battery on the trailer. Water temperature sender and the oil pressure sender, all that kind of stuff's in here. And also the warning, so the high engine temperature, low oil pressure come off of here, and the lower air pressure will come off of the front of the bus and just get all wired to a buzzer. So that's pretty much that here. I'll go up to the front of the bus. I'm still working up there. And then I have to tidy this all up yet, but pretty much everything's run. This I'm getting rid of this dimmer switch. I have a relay here that's going to be the dimmer switch, and I have this switch. I'll get it out of the bag. This arm here with the switch in the end of it, for which we'll replace that one there. Just have to feed the wires down through the steering column and over to that relay, and then the dimmer switch is on the end of the signal light switch, as I had mentioned before. That's what I did on the other bus as well. Worked really well. Anyway, that's also in my plan. There's my temporary gauge set up. Excuse me. Everything I need, just the basic stuff so I can drive it. I went and mounted ignition switch and switches that I need in the dasher. Just drilled some holes in it and mounted them. Have to label them yet. This dash, when I actually end up doing the dash, it'll go, cover all this stuff up, so I wasn't too worried about just drilling some holes in the dash. So that's all wired up. The ignition switch is all wired up, and the engine, everything at the engine works. I accidentally test fired the engine the other day. I just touched the starter wire to a 24 volt, when I was tracing it down, and all I wanted to do is bump the engine over and to make sure it was the right wire, and the darn thing didn't even turn over once, and it was running. So then I had to scramble up in there and shut it off because I don't have any coolant in it yet. Cooling system parts are starting to show up, so that'll be my next project. But yeah, I'll probably take one more little video once I'm done all this stuff here, and I'm just going to wire up all the switches here now, but that's pretty much it for the electrical, I believe. Alright, so I got my headlight dimmer here running through the that little switch there. Got that channel changed out. You have to fish the wires down through steering column here and out where all the rest of the wires go, and then it runs in the wiring harness over to this relay, and that switch is on the ground circuit, so that switch just grounds it. And I have the headlight power from the headlight switch and the trigger power all on the same circuit. So when the headlight is shut off, this relay is dead. When you turn the headlight switch on, it puts power to this green wire here, and then the ground controls it. Low beams are the normally closed circuit, and the high beams are normally open. So when you switch, when you ground and break ground on the relay, it switches power between those two leads, and that's how it switches the headlights. So anyways, pretty much all finished here. Got a few little things to do yet, but the wiring's pretty much done for now. Have to do all the lights yet. They'll all come off that box in the back there, but I don't have the lights yet. They're ordered, they haven't come in yet. So once they come in, I'll run all the wires for the lights and do all that. But this is pretty much it for wiring. If anybody has any questions, if want more clarification on something, I didn't think anybody would be interested in it at all, but if apparently people are, so if there's anything that didn't make any sense, or you know you're interested in or whatever, let me know and I'll try and explain it a little better. I'm not the greatest at explaining what I'm doing. So anyways, that's it. Now I'm on to the cooling system.